Swim Things in Blue Springs, your one-stop shop for all things swim. Pools, spas, patio furniture, swimwear, and accessories. Visit them in Blue Springs or at www.swimthings.com.
Um, the first time that I really just jumped into a pool and did a set, I was still too young to join the club team. Um, and I would show up every day with them just to watch. And one day the coach was just like, "Hey, you want to just jump in and do a 25 or a 50 real quick?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so I just jumped in and did it real quick. And I pretty much always loved it after that. I just felt almost natural.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the journey. We're so excited you're here, and I'm so excited to speak with today's guest. He's actually a very close family friend, and I'm grateful to have swam with such an amazing and talented swimmer as he is. Our guest today is recruited by none other than Bob Bowman, Michael Phelps's coach for many, many years for the Arizona Sundevils. Let's welcome Liam to the show. How are you today?
Fine. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Good. So, I mean, I've always been amazed at the teammate you were, and of course, seeing how hard you worked at practices. And I was always just in awe of just how much faster you could get each and every practice. With that being said, though, I feel like you've never really changed from the Liam I kind of grew up with, and to now, just the quiet, polite, very respectful, not one to, step on anyone's toes. Were you ever aware that people kind of viewed you as a role model?
Well, first off, thank you. I appreciate that. I think slowly but surely, as I went throughout high school, I would definitely say my role as like a leader or as a role model really started to develop. Like you said, I was kind of was the quiet kid. I just showed up to practice, did what I needed to do, and then just go on with my day. But kind of as I developed and grew up and matured, I definitely started taking on some of those responsibilities.
So you've accomplished a lot as a swimmer. In general, just being even as talented as you are, you've had even some swim sets named after you. I don't know if you know this, but in high school, the girls, I know you guys did this in high school, but for the girls, it would be Gibbler would do the Liam set. And that was like 350s on a 30 for you, 35 for us, into a straight 150 all out.
Mhm.
And so it was a hard set, and I just remember thinking to myself, like, if Liam can do this, I have to at least try it. So and kind of give it my all, just see what Liam has to go through, and it kind of worked out for me. So I kind of have to thank you for that. But what do you think of having this set named after you?
Well, most people I talk to would probably disagree. They obviously during the set, they're just like, "God, thanks, Liam."
Mm.
Um, but yeah, one day I was walking by and Coach Gibbler was just like, um, "You out of here?" Because I was leaving the pool deck, and I was like, "Yeah, what are you guys up to?" And she said that she was trying to figure out like a 200 set for her swimmers, and I was like, I can come up with something." She's like, "Yeah, go for it." And um, as far as for like 200 work, my philosophy is always you're obviously going to have that easy speed at the beginning of the race. So that the first 350s, that's kind of like your kind of easy speed, almost kind of easy threshold. But at the same time, by the time of the third 50, you're starting to tire out and um, you're seeing some of that fatigue. And then that's where that 150 comes in, is because that 150 all out is pretty much what the last 100 of your race is going to feel like. So if you can practice your technique and your turns and your underwaters and just all that stuff that kind of creates your race, if you can do that in 150 in practice, just that last 100 when you're fatigued and hurting, it's just going to, you're going to see the results of that.
Have you recommended this set to your teammates or even to Coach Bob Bowman at Arizona State?
No, I haven't. Uh, Bob kind of has his own structure to things, and I mean, I can nitpick and tell him what I think, but at the end of the day, he's just he does what he thinks is best, and you just got to listen and do what he says.
I think you have something there. He is Bob Bowman. He has coached the greatest swimmer of all time and to many others. And but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for you to say, hey, let's kind of throw this in there. I know from my many years of swimming that sometimes coaches they kind of have a little bit of a lock. They don't know what to give their swimmers that day. And I remember when I was in college, our coach actually asked us what we wanted to do, and sometimes we would think of sets. So if you ever find that opportunity, say, hey, back in high school, this was named after me. Let's kind of give this a try.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure they would probably say thanks, Liam. Again.
well, yeah, there's definitely some days where the coaches we asked like what the afternoon's going to look like when we were finished with morning practice, and the coach was like, yeah, we're not too sure of what we're going to do, and I always throw out 25s, but we never do 25s.
You swim the 200 and the 500, Liam. You can't be doing 25s.
I mean,
Unless there are like 20 of them, I guess.
that's normally what it is.
Yeah.
20, 25,
Well,
and the 20.
oh my gosh. Whew, that's tough. That's almost a completely straight 500 for me.
Yeah, me too.
Well, this set obviously worked for you in high school. You did some amazing things. You are currently the Missouri State High School record holder in the 500 free. You broke the 200 freestyle record twice, I believe. What did it mean for you to be able to break those high school records?
Um, for me, it was kind of always just a mission at the very beginning of the season. I would sit down with my coaches and just kind of lay out a plan as to what I want to accomplish over the high school season and then the entire short course season afterwards, and then even going into long course season. But every high school season, I would try to think of which events I was wanting to swim that season. Um, and I mean, it wasn't so much the titles or the records that I had in mind. It was more so just the times. The times were what I was after, and each practice I'd try to go in with just those in mind. Um, yeah, and then eventually, as the
Paid
season,
off with the nice reward. You just had a
yeah,
nice reward in the season.
yeah, exactly, and just kind of as the season went on, and taper came around, and we'd shave and we'd suit up, and my goals are kind of my focal point, and typically that's what I want to accomplish.
Well, this is absolutely amazing, and here you are now at Arizona State University, being coached by Bob Bowman. We're talking to you in January 2021 when the entire team is taking a redshirt year. So you'll be coming back as a junior in fall 2021. How have the expectations of being coached by Bob Bowman matched with the reality?
I'd definitely say from day one, or at least the first few months, it was still kind of like that awe factor, like, oh, I get to be coached by Bob Bowman, and he's done so many great things with not only Michael Phelps but so many different swimmers and coaching staff. But I mean, as the years go on, I think I'm coming up on my third year with him. I mean, he's pretty much just been the coach that I've always wanted. I mean, he's disciplined. On the pool deck, he's your coach. And for me, that's pretty important. And we're able to joke around at practice and, make fun of each other and all that good stuff. But then at the end of the day, he knows what my goals and the team goals are. And he's there to get the job done and make sure everyone's on point.
And you had a really amazing sophomore year. I was really impressed with you at the 2020 Pac-12 meet. You got into the finals, which is not an easy thing to do in the 500 free. What allowed you to have such a big breakthrough in your swimming between your freshman and sophomore years?
So my at the end of my freshman year, going into conference, I actually got mono like the week before. So I had to sit out conference that year, but then they took me to the NCAA championships to swim on a relay. And then pretty much that whole summer, it was a matter of putting weight back on. Because of mono, I lost, I think, 16 or 17 pounds. And so,
Yikes.
yeah, so that whole summer was just a matter of putting it back on in a safe way and just trying to get me back into the shape I was in. And then sophomore year, it was just again setting up my goals and come conference. We were slightly rested going into that meet. We didn't shave, and I was actually pretty surprised with how I did. It was just, obviously with the way things went, I wish we could have had NCAA's and could have performed, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you still have such a bright future ahead of you. I know there's going to be some really amazing things coming from you. Um, on your bio page on the Arizona State Swimming website, you said that your most exciting moment in sports was qualifying for the World Championship trials in the 200 freestyle. Now, as I said before, you broke some high school state records, so that's pretty exciting.
Mhm.
You are being coached by probably the greatest swimming coach ever, one of them at least. So why is qualifying for World Championship trials in 200 freestyle your most exciting moment?
Um, I mean, as a young kid, I remember watching the 2008 Olympics, obviously with Phelps, and then the 2012 Olympics. And obviously, just every young swimmer's dream is to either make it trials or make it to the Olympics. And I mean, I was no different. And um, for me, that's my most memorable memory, just because that was like my big first step. Um, I mean, high school season was always like I was very proud and I appreciated everything that I received from it and everything that I was able to do. But for me and my kind of childhood dream of trying to make it to the trials and then potentially to the Olympics, that was just like my big first step, and that's why it's my most memorable.
What would you say is the thing that kind of got you into swimming, and why in your youth did you tell yourself, like, this is something I want to do?
Yeah, so my mom, when she was very young, swam for a neighborhood club team, and she actually had quite a bit of success back in the day, but never really went past high school season. Um, and then my older siblings, my oldest brother is Ethan, my older sister is Sydney. Both of them swam neighborhood for a couple of years, and um, the first time that I really just jumped into a pool and did a set, I was still too young to join the club team. Um, and I would show up every day with them just to watch. And one day the coach was just like, "Hey, you want to just jump in and do a 25 or a 50 real quick?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so I just jumped in and did it real quick. And I pretty much always loved it after that. I just felt almost natural. And then fast forward a few years, I believe I was in eighth grade, or yeah, I think I was in eighth grade. Um, I was pretty much from uh, elementary school to middle school. I was always kind of bouncing back and forth between different sports. And my eighth grade year, I finally had some success in the 200 free, and I was like, no, I'm pretty good at this. I'm enjoying this. I love working hard. I love being able to move in the water. I just love being in the water. So pretty much from that day forth, it was full focus in the pool.
You talked about having goals, and that it's not in high school, it wasn't about the records. Every season you have time goals and everything. What's the next big goal for you in terms of your swimming career?
Yeah. So with this redshirt year, it's pretty much full sight, full focus on the trials. And for the past couple of years, I've always been in the top 30, I believe, for the 200 free and the 400 free. And really, my goal for this year is to either be top 16 or if not top 8. Um, I mean, I kind of have a general idea as to what those times are going to be for those events if I want to be in that top placement. So that's pretty much the primary reason why we redshirted this year is so we don't really have to deal with an infinite amount of factors traveling to different colleges or different states and different places to compete and do dual meets and then potentially getting the virus and then having to set aside time to quarantine and recover and all that. It's we're pretty much isolated ourselves and we're just training every day, all day a week. So that's definitely my goal for this summer. And then going into my next college season, it's definitely more A finals for conference and then hopefully some top placements for the NCAAs.
Good goals.
Thank you.
So I know that your brother Ethan, he actually went on to swim in college at Missouri State. Did he ever have any influence on you as a young swimmer when he decided to do that?
Oh, absolutely. Honestly, he was probably, I mean, to this day, he's my biggest fan, and he was always kind of like a secondary, or he was like the secondary coach besides CJ or Carmen. Um, he would experience things obviously from college or from a different set of eyes, and then he would come to me and show me these different things that I need to work on or how I can fix different stuff. So a lot of my success today, I do have to give to him.
Yeah, I
So a
agree.
lot of people have had to do some really weird stuff in quarantine during this pandemic. We've all picked up different hobbies and whatnot. You actually took an internship with an insurance company, I read.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to do that?
So with everything shutting down, I figured this would be a perfect time to get work experience. And I applied to about 8 or 10 different internships, and unfortunately, all of them shut down. But here at ASU, we have faculty that work with student athletes, not only just academically or for their sport, but they also do by getting them internships or full-time positions outside of college. So I reached out to one of our administrators, and he had a connection to an insurance agent, and he got me on board.
Is there a possible career for you in insurance?
Um, I'm not going to say yes or no, but I definitely learned a lot from that job. I'm still kind of, even though I'm a junior, I'm still kind of in between what I really want to do after college.
Hey, don't worry about it. Take your time. It wasn't until like the last few months of my senior year where I knew exactly what I wanted to do with my life and my career. So you have plenty of time. Wasn't trying to rush you or try to put you on the spot there. If I'm thinking about jobs to do, I mean, obviously, if whatever comes your way, especially in this pandemic, obviously take it. And obviously, if you work with an insurance company, you get a lot of different skills from there. I'm sure that you probably didn't realize you had.
Yeah, definitely opened my eyes, especially just having to work with um, people from all over the Phoenix area. I mean, you have people calling in just to, almost talk about their day, just kind of checking in, making sure everything's good. And then obviously with the pandemic, you have people calling in, kind of almost panicking and just being able to learn what to say and how to say things during a certain situation, I would definitely say was probably my biggest takeaway.
So although you may not have like a career for your life planning for the futures forward, but do you maybe plan on coaching a swim team of sorts, maybe Empire, or, going back to your old roots for the summer league?
Um, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've definitely given it a lot of thought. Um, I think after the next kind of couple of years, I'm gonna see exactly what it is I'm gonna do. I think definitely I'm gonna stick with the business field for a little bit, but I'm definitely going to go back to swimming just because I feel like, I've been in the sport for so long. It would almost be a waste not to just go back and teach either little kids or high schoolers or maybe even college kids like what I've experienced. And um, yeah, I really think I'm going to do that.
That's awesome. Well, Liam, we thank you so much for being on the journey with us. We wish you the best on your futures ahead and everything with that. Thank you again. And like we always say, it's not just about the destination, it's also about the journey. Thanks, guys.